All right, today we're going to talk about a very cool production knife from ZT, Zero Tolerance. Now, I've done videos on this guy before. This is the 0452CF, and my older brother turned me on to this one. And when I was training and doing triathlons and whatnot, this is the knife I would use when I would run. I would put it in my bike jersey and carry it on training bike rides and all of that stuff as well, because it's super lightweight, it's small, doesn't take up room, and if you ever need a knife, you've got it. This one is also out of S35VN. So fast forward to today, and I got this guy, the 0452. There's also a Sinkovich design, also an S35VN. And this was a gift to me from a good friend, Kyle. Unexpected. He just shipped it over and said, here you go. Kind of a Christmas, kind of a New Year, kind of a, hey, congrats on 10,000 subscribers, all of that stuff. And it's basically the big brother to the 0450. Super cool knives. And it really got me thinking that I need to be more into production knives, maybe, and a little less into higher end customs, because this is kind of tipping the scale for me. And I've had a lot of production knives on the channel, like the Kubi I absolutely love for $50. The Jim Skelton's latest mini Hellraiser for about $400. And you got this ZT for $272. And I just mentioned the price just to keep us kind of in check on our things, right? Obviously, you know, I love my customs. And we won't talk about price of this, but it's over $4,000, okay? We'll just leave it at that. Handmade Damascus blade from Todd Fisher Sr., you know, yada, yada, right? We've all seen this. I've talked about it before. It's one of the twin knives, and I am giving away this other twin in Magna Cut, which is about $4,000 with the Magna Cut blade. The Sanmai handmade blade is a little add-on, but let's not go there. So let's talk about the specs on this guy first. And I may have done a video on this previously, but I didn't go look. And I think it's good to revisit your knives from time to time. Now, this is only new for me now, but somebody shipped this into me before, I think, a couple of years back. But I think it's good because we evolve as humans in what we like, what we don't like, the music we listen to, the TV shows we watch, the food we eat. You know, it's always evolving and changing. So I think it's good when you have an opportunity to revisit a knife that you do. Okay? So there you go. This is not a small knife. This is 5 1/8 closed and 9 1/4 overall. It's a 4.13 inch blade and edge. 0.025 behind the edge, 0.154 blade thickness. S35VN, as I mentioned, runs on bearings, weighs in at 4.2 ounces, and is 0.508 thick. So it's just a hair over half an inch thick. This thing, it just fires like a rocket. It's incredible, the detent and the action on this. Super great. Feels really good in the hand and in the pocket, regardless of the fact that the pocket clip is just mounted on top of the titanium lock bar. I mean, it's not on the lock bar, but on the lock side. And it uses button head hardware. I wish that was done differently, but the rest of the pocket clip works really well. And despite that, it still normally goes all the way in. My jeans go all the way into the edge. Sometimes on like brand new jeans that have the full hem and they haven't been like threadbare yet from knife use for years and years, it'll get hung up like just right about here at the screws. So it's still deep carry. You still have, even if it hit the screws, it's still pretty deep. Like it carries really well is my point. The milling, it has this little bit of milling around the chamfers of the lock side, which I like. However, they don't exactly match the milling on the show side. It's a little deeper here on the lock side, goes farther back. And that's something probably nobody has ever noticed because the normal person wouldn't look that closely. But when I'm zooming in and I'm really looking at these things, those types of differences stand out to me. Now, is that a deal breaker? No, it doesn't really matter that this chamfering is like, I didn't measure. Let's say it's a quarter of an inch and this is like just a hair, like a little more. That's nothing. So it does have a steel lock bar insert, which also acts as an over travel stop. So you cannot unspring this. And what I mean unspring is oftentimes the lock bar doesn't have an over travel stop. So you could, in like a panic situation or something like that, as you go to unlock it, you could push all the way out here and bend that lock bar so it doesn't come back and doesn't lock up again. I've never had that happen to me. I have knives that do not have a lock bar over travel stop, but it's happened. It's a thing. People talk about it. If it wasn't really a thing, they wouldn't make over travel stops. Now, I may do another video or I may just ramble about it right now. This knife really reminds me of one of my favorite custom knives that I own. The R.J. Martin Q36SS. Now, granted, I'm comparing, but I'm not putting them on the same level. They're different knives. $300, $3,000. Okay, they are different categories. However, their blade shape is similar. It's not identical, but it is carbon fiber, titanium lock side, frame locks, zirconium pocket clip, zirconium pivots, steel pocket clip. I don't know what kind of pivot. S35 and Magna Cut. However, they are both about the same size. They are both about the same thickness. The blades are about the same thickness. There is a lot of similarities here. I don't want to say and go so far as to say this is the poor man's R.J. Martin, because the blade shape is absolutely different, and this is R.J.'s signature look and shape. He is also the king of detent and flipper action. However, there is a lot of similarities in the action as well. And that's something I can't really describe on a video. That's something you just have to experience. There's even some jimping up here at the top and here. It's just a very interesting thing to me as I was really spending time with this. Now, ZT has done an R.J. Martin collaboration years ago, and it is actually bigger than the Q36SS. It is more in this 0452 size. If I bring it down here, this I'm just now kind of noticing. This is actually a little longer. This is a 4¼ inch blade, 4.1 and 4, if I remember. So ZT is not unfamiliar with R.J. Martin. This is a cool knife. This is the 0600, by the way. So anyway, enough of that comparison. I'm not saying you should run out and buy this knife because you can't get an RJ Martin. They're different. And I still love my RJ Martin. Still to this day, I think this is the one knife in my entire collection that I would keep if you put a gun to my head and told me I had to get rid of everything else. If I could only keep one knife, this would probably be it, because it's just a great blade shape. It's a great carry every day. And as much as I love my fancy Damascus blades, my battles, my Archangels, and all those fancy knives, I really still think that that would be the one to keep forever as my one and only knife. This is a pretty good backup to that because it's just that good. So if you have one of these, let me know. If you've got any questions, this one is mine. It is staying in the collection because it was a gift. I'm not going to say it's a keeper. It's a forever keeper. I'm never going to sell it. I don't say that about any of my knives. I don't. Even this one here that Todd Fisher Sr. specifically forged and built this Damascus for me. While I want to say it's a forever keeper, hey, push comes to shove, I lose my job, the mortgage people are hounding me. Like, I got bills to pay like everybody else. So in dire emergency situations, nothing is off of the table for sale. Now, granted, I don't plan to be in that position ever, but does anybody? I've been laid off before. I was out of work for 4 months. Stuff got sold. It was before I was really hardcore into knives, but yeah, stuff got sold, man. I was selling stuff. So like, you know, I try not to say it's a forever keeper, whether it's a knife, a watch, a car, a baseball card, a Pokemon card, you name it. Because you always get called out. People are like, dude, you said you'd never sell it. And like, it just is a thing. Anyway, now I'm just totally rambling. So, thanks for watching. I'll put a ZT playlist up here in the corner. And I will talk about this in this video over here where I talk about why I'm keeping only one knife if I ever needed to. And I kind of go through a bunch of different things and narrow it down. If you're interested in watching that and you've missed it, go check it out. Thanks a lot, everyone. And Kyle, thank you so very much for this gift. It is truly very special because it came from a good friend. All right? Thanks, everyone.